What if I told you that Robert McCall's fight for justice isn't over yet? That the Equalizer 4 might be the most personal, brutal, and redemptive chapter of his life? In this vision of the fourth film, McCall is dragged back into the fray when a ghost from his past surfaces. Someone he once trusted in his covert life, now turned into a dangerous enemy whose operations are destroying innocent lives. He thought he'd retired after the events of Equalizer 3, but retirement isn't safe when there's a new crime syndicate that's more sophisticated, more ruthless, and more invisible than any he has faced before. This enemy doesn't just traffic drugs or violence. They traffic in secrets, leverage power in politics, and manipulate global networks. McCall is forced to step out of his quiet life in Italy, or wherever he found peace, and become the equalizer once more, not just for justice, but for redemption, for a chance to protect the people who matter to him, and to finally face the demons he never fully outran. As McCall re enters the world of shadows, he forms a small but elite team, people he can trust, but who also challenge him. This time, his allies include a brilliant young hacker with a troubled past, a morally ambiguous ex military woman who sees McCall as both a mentor and rival, and a hardened former crime lord who wants to switch sides. Their mission: dismantle this new transnational crime ring from the inside. They investigate secret arms deals, shadow government contracts, human trafficking, and data black markets, leading to a dangerous cat and mouse game across Europe, Latin America, and maybe even North Africa. McCall has to rely on more than brute force. This fight demands strategy, patience, and a willingness to sacrifice. And the emotional stakes are high. Old friendships are tested, trust is fragile, and McCall must confront the cost of violence on his soul. There are moments of heart-pounding action, quiet scenes of reflection, and real moral dilemmas. Is vengeance worth the price? And if he wins, will he ever be able to walk away again? Now, I'm a huge Equalizer fan. I think the franchise works best when it's not just about action, but about justice, redemption, and what a man owes to his own conscience. In my mind, The Equalizer 4 could be the perfect capstone for McCall if done right. Gritty, emotional, smart. I'd love to see the film lean heavily into his internal struggles, not just external threats. The weight of his past, the guilt of his decisions, and the hope that maybe one more fight could finally set things right. If the writers go for a layered story and don't just deliver shootouts, they'll honor McCall's character beautifully. But of course, nothing's perfect. For Equalizer 4 to really work, there are things that could be improved. First, the trilogy risked overusing the lone vigilante formula. In a sequel, it's important to expand McCall's world, give him allies, and show how his mission influences others. I'd like to see more development of supporting characters so it doesn't feel like it's all about him alone again. Also, the pacing needs to balance his internal journey with external action. Too much of either, and you lose emotional impact. Fans already theorize that McCall might be mentoring a younger Equalizer, someone who could take over in future films. And that idea has huge potential, but only if handled with respect, not just as a gimmick. Another common fan theory is that Man on Fire, another Denzel Washington movie, is secretly connected to this universe. Maybe younger McCall was inspired by or linked to John Creasy from Man on Fire. It's a theory that gives McCall's backstory new depth, and if Equalizer 4 leaned into that, it could be a powerful reveal. Some insiders also talk about a potential origin prequel with de-aged McCall using AI, which could tie into Washington's statements about more films. If they do a prequel or a legacy passing film, it has to feel earned, not like a cheap cash grab. As for what people are actually saying behind the scenes, the rumor mill is hot but murky. According to interviews, Washington has confirmed developing both Equalizer 4 and 5. Screen Rant but Antoine Fuqua, who directed the previous films, once said Equalizer 3 was his final chapter. Digital spy. On top of that, some of the trailers you see online are fake. KH Studios' viral Equalizer 4 trailers are concept fan-made, built with AI and archive footage. Coming soon. So right now, things are really speculative. There are also whisperings that producers consider de-aging McCall for flashbacks, or even starting a very different Equalizer story around a younger protagonist. Some insiders believe they're prepping a spin-off, maybe even a television or streaming version, rather than a full theatrical follow-up. As for when we might see this, the most optimistic estimation among fans and some outlets suggests a possible release around 2026 or 2027, but there's no official date yet. Headstark.com. If production starts soon, that timeline could make sense, but until Sony confirms, it's all hopeful speculation. In the end, whether the Equalizer 4 2026 actually happens or not, the very idea of it is exciting. Robert McCall is one of those rare action heroes who isn't a superhero. He's a deeply human man, haunted by his past, driven by a moral code, and capable of violence only because he believes it's necessary to protect the helpless. A fourth film could be a beautiful, thoughtful, adrenaline-fueled return to that world. If they get the writing, cast, and heart right, this could be more than just another sequel. It could be the most meaningful Equalizer story yet. And if you're as pumped about that possibility as I am, make sure to smash that subscribe button, hit like, and turn on notifications. I'll be covering every new rumor, update, and fan theory as this develops. So stay tuned because if Equalizer 4 comes, we're in for one hell of a ride.